I believe that most people in society, to some degree, are enslaved.
I think a lot of people, I don't know, why don't they make the change? Is that a fear thing?
That is the ultimate freedom, is where you have power over your own life.
So how do you get out of the rut that you're in?
I got a video of me selling a $3.3 million house, and then I went back home, I was so drained. I did not even feel happy that I fulfilled at all that it happened. I remember, I didn't even realize till I made like 5 sales. I was like, wow, people are actually buying from my stuff. When you are working a job and someone's telling you what to do, like it's sustainable for a little bit, but for me, my brain is cooked. I explode. Oh my gosh. I'll open the account one day. You are...
Guys, welcome to another show of Creating Freedom. So today we've got a special guest on, and as always, we like to start off the show with a question of, when you hear the word creating freedom, how does that sound to you? What does that mean?
Perfect. Well, first of all, David and Simon, thank you very much for inviting me on the show. Like, what a legendary topic for a podcast, because for me, that is the number one thing that I strive for in life, is freedom, right? Freedom is essentially nobody can tell me what to do. I do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want, with whoever I want, and nobody can say otherwise, right? Not the government, not your employer, not who else, not the doctor, right? No one tells you what to do. You decide and determine your own destiny. So there's levels to that, which I'd love to get into, but to me, that's the most simple answer, is
Break it, go into the level.
That's one of my favorite ones. So good.
Yeah.
Go a bit deep on that.
okay, well, you asked for it. So I believe that most people in society, to some degree, are enslaved a little bit, right? And I think most people are starting to wake up to this now, especially after that big C word event happened, right? And, you know, say for example for me, right? When World War III starts and China invades the US, right? And they say, everyone over 25 and under 15 needs to go to war. They're recruiting everyone and you have no choice. I'm not fucking there. I'm gone. See you later, right? When your employer says, you need to inject this substance that's not really tested that well for very long into your arm, into your body to keep your job, which is what happened to me. I'm not doing that shit anymore, right? And a lot of people look, I'm not sure if that'll get demonetized or not. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I'm pretty sure it won't. But I'm not doing that shit anymore, right? That happened to me. When you know, in general, you know, when the government says, we don't like what you said about this person, so all your assets are getting seized, you can't touch them. To me, that's freedom. No one's controlling my life, my destiny. No one has leverage over me. That is the ultimate freedom, is where you have power over your own life, right? It's almost like, you know, there's levels to power, and freedom is essentially having power over your own life. No one controls you, right? The next step above that is what a lot of, you know, these big elites do, where they try to control everyone else. I'm just concerned with my own life. So long as no one's touching what I do, that's freedom to me.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one, Where? Hey.
Fantastic.
All right, cool. So for everybody's watching, let's just introduce yourself. Just a little bit of story about you.
So my name's Harry, 25 years old, living in Bali with these fellas. Hell yeah, Canggu. And I've been here for about 6 months now. And I work, or have my own social media marketing agency. I'm more freelance, have 2 editors. And I create social media ads for health e-commerce companies. So one of my biggest clients is one of the biggest supplement companies in the world. They're called Goli Nutrition. Another one is Boom Boom, like a company that's been on Shark Tank. They're all health-focused companies. And I create ads for them that hypnotize people into buying the product, essentially.
Fantastic. But it wasn't always like that, yeah? What were we doing before? Like,
Right. So
where
I'll
did
shorten
all
the
start?
story. I've done a lot of things, right? I'm only 25, but you know, I feel like I've done a lot of things. In many years' time, will probably different, and I'll say, "Wow, I've done so many things." But I initially went to the university for 3 years studying mechanical engineering or mechatronics engineering, and one day I didn't like it at all. Right? It was more like societal pressure. I have a Chinese mother, right? She says, "If you're not doing engineering in university, it's like no point." So okay, I'm doing engineering 2.5 years in. I was like, man, this isn't it. This is not what I enjoy. Well, there's got to be something else. And I see someone who went to my high school walk through. I was like, how you been? We had a chat. He said, I'm not even in university anymore. I actually work in sales. And I was like, so why sales? He's like, well, I used to study engineering like you, but it turns out that the salespeople earn more than the engineers. I was like, I do not believe this. He showed me proof. He showed me all his bank statements. He's a very nice guy. I was like, oh my God, this guy's, 20 years old making 6 figures. I can't even imagine that, right? He's like, go get a sales job, go try it out. So I got a sales job while in uni, door-to-door sales. And I was selling, stuff to business. It's not actually to residential homes. I walked into businesses, try to sell them some stuff on commission only. And I found out I was very good at it.
What was it, by the way?
It was a charity sponsorship, right? So for Surf Life Saving, I'm not sure if you were in them. So we walk into businesses, and I'd put on a great smile. I'd be like, haha, like, where's your boss? We want to go talk to him, And it was cheeky. It was like, I would never do that stuff right now, but I was so hungry at 19, right? I was 19 years old, and I was like, fast forward, in like 4 weeks, right, became the top salesperson in that company, right? Out of a team of like maybe 30, 40 people. The boss watching this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, his name was Shane, a great guy. Walk in, right, with a little bib on and be like, yo, like, what's up? And, back then I was only making like, $500 in a day. And I thought that was amazing, right? I thought, oh my God, $500 in one day. It was just so funny to think about now. But, then that led me, I met someone there who was actually, had a insulation company, and I became the head of sales for that for like a year. It was a very small company, so it's nothing crazy. But then I became a real estate agent. Right, and this is where the topic of creating freedom really started to hit me, because in real estate, you work every day for like 10 hours, right? And most people just look in the news and they think, oh, real estate agents are overpaid and it's not a real profession, and all they do is turn on the lights at an open home. Well, there's a lot of elements to it. You're essentially kissing ass the whole time, and it's really draining, and you never have a day off. Like, if a real estate agent has a day off, they'll tell you, like, they panic. They can't comprehend not working, because you always get calls, always do this. And, at 21 years old, although I was making great money, right, for a 21-year-old, like, there were some months where I earned $50,000, right? And I was like, wow, I'm 21 years old, earning $50K. I got a video of me selling a $3.3 million house. And the auction comes in. I was like so excited on the video. Yeah. Deep down, I felt terrible, right? I had to like put it on for that, just the video. And then I went back home. I was so drained. I did not even feel happy that I fulfilled at all that it happened, because I was so drained. This is going through COVID, right? So drained after just working every day with no breaks, didn't ever have any time off. My family was worried about me. My friends were worried about me. Every time my friends went out, I couldn't join them because I was always working. I was like, this isn't worth it. I don't feel, even if I have more resources, I don't feel like my life's better, right? So eventually I burnt out very hard, and after about 2 years, and if any of my bosses watch this in the future, they'll agree. Like, I was just a wreck, and you can see it on my face. I was cortisol, with puffy ass. I started off looking great. I was lean, young looking. I swear I aged like 5 years in those like 2 years. And I was like, I wrote in my journal, I said, whatever I do next, I can't be fixed to location. I didn't leave Auckland for like 2 years, right? I can't be fixed to location. I want to be able to earn a lot of money every month, and I want it to be able to just choose where I go, right? And so that's what led me down the journey of choosing what I want to do in my life, where it has to be, location freedom, income freedom. And, I don't want people saying you have to go to this meeting at this time, or you have to do this thing you don't want to do, right? And it's ironic because I actually, eventually the government came. They said, actually, you owe this much tax. And I couldn't pay it. So no one told me about how tax worked back then, right? And so I obviously, being stupid, I'd invested a lot in Bitcoin. I spent all this money. So like, I nearly lost all my money, like, essentially. I was not very smart back then. But the lesson learned. I was only 21. And so I had to get a job to essentially pay the rent. And it got even worse, less freedom. I had to wake up at 6 a.m., start at 7 a.m., sales job, calling to the US. And again, I became like top in sales. Sales worked for me like through this entire period. And I was like, wow, like, this isn't it either, right? It essentially got worse. Even though I was earning a decent amount, it still wasn't enjoyable. Right?
And so when you got to that sales, because you had like burnt out in real estate, the tax bill came out, you couldn't pay, you needed to get a job. So was that a remote thing, or was that just calling?
That was an office, right? But the journal was after real estate. I said, my vision for the future is where I don't have to go to an office, don't have to, be tied to a fixed location. And the thing about this job is, like, every employer, they sell you the dream when they come to the job, right? I got referred to this job from someone in real estate. It was a real estate software sales job.
Okay.
And they sold me the dream. They said, we're going to fly you to the US and you're going to go on so many trips and you don't have to come into the office that much. So, this fits the criteria of what I was looking for. Turns out none of that happened. I never went anywhere other than Auckland. I had to wake up at 6 a.m. to go to 7 a.m. sales job every day. Didn't really have that much morning routine. It's like, okay, well, like, when you are working a job and someone's telling you what to do, like, it's sustainable for a little bit. For me, my brain is cooked. I can't have someone telling me what to do all the time. I personally, like, probably something from my childhood. If someone's telling me you have to go to this meeting, do this and do that, and micromanage me, I explode. And so throughout this entire, the day one I started that sales job, as soon as I went home, I was thinking about ways, how can I start something online, right? How can I have a side hustle? If I even made like $1,000 a month just from a side hustle, I'd be so happy, like, just make my first $1,000. And so I started creating social media content around supplements I was taking. Those took off very fast on TikTok.
Wow. So you explore. So you explored. This is during or maybe after COVID or before COVID. It's after COVID.
Yeah.
So you explored that avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And so I started creating TikTok content. I had heaps of other failed business ideas to try drop shipping. Oh my gosh. Anyway, many. And I started this TikTok thing. I saw Gary V. You know Gary V?
Yeah.
He said, just create social media content about something you're passionate about. I said, well, I love health. I'm like a hypochondriac. I think about health so much that it's like a blessing and a curse because I'm obsessed so much about supplements. So I said, here's 10 supplements I'm taking today to boost my testosterone. And this is what happens. And I show my blood work and all this stuff. They got millions of views very fast. And I was like, okay, well, this is amazing. Why don't I put an affiliate link here to, give people the option to buy the stuff that I'm taking? And they did. And I remember, like, after 2 or 3 months, I earned $2,000 in a month from commission. And I was like, wow, like, it wasn't enough to, like, quit my job or anything. But I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, $2,000 is enough to pay my rent for like 2 months.
Yeah.
This is great.
And what was, one of the things, like, is like, I've had it, a lot of people have it, is like, what was that feeling for the first sale? What was that first sale? When was that first sale?
I remember, I didn't even realize till I made like 5 sales. And I checked this affiliate dashboard and I'd earn like $50 in commission or something. I was like, whoa, like $50. They didn't even pay it out till you made $100 commission. So I was like, couldn't earn it. But I was like, wow, people are actually buying from my stuff. And part of the reason I wasn't that surprised because I worked in sales so long. I worked on commission for so long that $50, like, I was like, I always knew I was going to make some sales because I'd worked in sales so long. But when it got to like $1,000, $2,000, which is funny to look back on now because I do something very similar at a higher level now. But like, I just thought, wow, like, this is crazy. If I can, 5 times this, then I can quit my job essentially. And so yeah.
And so you were doing that when you were selling the real estate software and creating content as a side thing or as a test as well.
Correct, yeah. So I wake up 6 a.m., go to 7 a.m. in office, cold call the entire day, and then in American hours, so after 1 p.m., like that's American hours over. And so I would come 1 p.m., I just do fuck all at work pretty much the entire day. To be honest, like, sorry guys if you're watching, but I do fuck all till like 4 p.m. And then I'd literally just click on Salesforce. Oh yeah, type this in, because there's nothing to do. You can't call anyone. So, but of course, because I'm not free, I'm a slave to them. They say you have to work in office till 4. So what am I supposed to do? Like, this is non-productive. You're just paying me essentially now per hour to just do fuck all. So it's their fault. But anyway, so I get home at 4, and then I would immediately just start creating videos, right? Sunlight's still out. I was very fortunate that I could end at like 3:30, 4 p.m. so you get home for all the traffic. I start creating videos about stuff I was taking. Here's my testosterone. Here's how I feel. And yeah. And then eventually I discovered communities of other people doing very similar stuff, but for their own e-commerce companies. Not companies, but like, stores that they were running. And I was like, well, there's thousands of people doing exactly what I'm doing, but just on a higher level. And so I joined those communities. I started trying to do my own supplement stores. 2 failed. But then the third one, I remember I just made a few videos. I actually found this platform, which was very new, August 2023. It was called TikTok Shop in the US. And it just launched. No one is ever using it. And I essentially got some products that were on Amazon. I listed them on TikTok Shop. And I woke up 2 days later, I forgot to check. I'd already made like 20 sales without any videos. And I was like, well, that's like, I don't even know. That was like 700. I don't know the math right now. Maybe, a few $100 profit, but with no effort. Just listed it. It was like drop shipping. And this is what I'm going to stick with now because this is actually profitable. So fast forward, I created my own supplement company, did a few $100,000 in revenue. And then, but it was never enough because it wasn't very profitable, right? Like you sell all this amount but it's not profit. Like you have to invest so much in inventory. I have to invest so much in paying people to advertise and ads, paying creators to make videos. You usually see, so at the end of the day, you're left with like 10, 20% profit max, which is not enough. So I was like, well, I'm making all these ads right now, but like it's not profitable. I feel like I'm doing so much work for so little pay, even if the revenue number is high. And this is why, like, when you see people online, like the 18-year-old talking about, wow, I made $100,000 this month, like maybe revenue, but a lot of the time profit, especially for shitty products like some toy they're selling, it's like 10% profit, if that, maybe 5% in some cases. So I was like, I want to make more profit. Then one of the big companies actually approached me and they said, it was called Golden Nutrition. They're like these gummies, billion-dollar company. They were hiring heaps of different people to make ads for them because they just want to do like some like crazy generational run stuff. They said, can you make ads for us? I will pay you retainer and commission. And commission was like 25% and bonuses. Once you sell $10,000, we'll buy your MacBook Pro and all this other stuff, $50,000, buy your Rolex. Well, I've never seen this sort of structure in my life ever. This is crazy. I'll start doing this.
How old was you then?
This was like, this was in July.
Yeah.
July 2024.
And so that's why Lois. Yeah, I saw Lois. Yeah, she's great. Yeah.
Lois, we work in very, very similar fields. She nearly similar. So Lois and her brother, Leo, have a supplement company together, along with their business partner. And yeah, they're selling a certain supplement. They're great. You should have them on the pod as well.
No, we've had her on the pod already.
Oh, you've had her?
We have.
You should have Leo and Ayub. They're the founders of the supplement company that they're doing. They're great guys. They're young, amazing.
Yeah,
they're great guys. But anyway, I started working for the Golden Nutrition, and the first 7 days I made more profit than I did in my supplement company, right, monthly. And something, I sold like $15,000 worth of supplement, right? And I was like, but it's 25% commission. And they gave me a MacBook Pro. Like they said, we're sending you a MacBook Pro. And I was like, holy shit, like this is great. this is actually, well, screw whatever I was doing before. Why don't I just double down on this? I stopped making ads for my own products, right? I put that on the side. I fired all the creators that I had. And I said, and now and I got another client, Boom Boom Nasal Sticks, right? Which is my favorite client. And they were 25% commission as well. So I was on Goalie so they all pay monthly. They all have commission around 25%, 30%, and they have bonuses as well every tier structure you hit. So now I'm doing two to three clients, right? And this is more money than I've consistently on a consistent basis, right? I had big months with my own supplement company, but this every month just the money's getting higher and higher. And I was like, oh my God, like hell yeah. And then in Black Friday just being like, it was fantastic month. And so now that's essentially what I do now is like, eventually in the future, I want to start another supplement company again with something that's like amazing that hasn't entered the market before. But right now, essentially running an agency with 2 editors who help me making ads for these 3 companies right now, and very fortunate position because it's still very early stages in a specific industry that we're in. Yeah.
And so when you received that offer by those 2 supplement companies, were you still working at the real estate software development?
No. So, okay. So I was shortening the story here. But so when real estate software, I ended that around August 2023 because I started this. Remember, I said I started this TikTok shop store where I made like $500 in sales. So then I started my own store on the shop and I made around $10,000, right? And I was like, well, finally, like I have some savings now. I can quit my job. I just want to go travel to Europe, right? I want to go travel somewhere in Europe. I went to Portugal actually for 2 months. And I had a girlfriend at the time. And so I was like, I just want to get out of here. Like, I feel trapped, I just want to go travel. I want to have time off. And so I went there, right? And, for reasons I want to get into, the relationship didn't work. So now I'm broken up, right? Have this supplement. And I started this company selling this substance called Shilajit. And I'd spent nearly my entire savings buying the inventory for this and then hiring creators and spent all my time all day making ads. And we actually, in the first 2 weeks, sold out everything, right? Like 1,500 units. I didn't have that much money at the time because I was traveling and invested all this. I was like, oh, great. And I had a credit card as well. And I was swiping away and getting all this stuff set up and all the branding, everything. And oh my gosh, I'll open the account one day. You are banned, right?
What?
Banned. And all the funds were frozen. And so I'd sold out everything. I'd used my credit card to pay for more inventory, right? But the funds that I needed to pay off all that debt were frozen. So it was around, I don't know, $25,000, $30,000, right? But I don't have any of it. So I've just spent all this money on inventory and fulfillment. It's like $3 shipping it out, plus $3 per fulfillment to the company that does all the warehousing, plus $5 per order. So I'm in heaps of debt right now, and I'm overseas, and I pay for new inventory, and my funds are frozen. So I was like, holy shit, like I'm done.
For what reason did they ban you?
So I had to partner with someone in the US to run the store because they only allow US people to open the store. And they said but they suspected that person of fraud. So it affected me, even though he had nothing to do with my store. That his details are registered because he'd registered his details to other people, and other people probably did some dodgy stuff. To this day, they still haven't said. And I asked him many times, why have you done this? Why have you done? It took me so long to figure it out. Like this guy was just doing some dodgy stuff on the side. Whatever. Funds were frozen. I lost everything. Okay, great. Well, I have to go home now because I can't afford to stay in Oz and Spain at this time. I can't afford to stay in Spain. It's way too expensive here. Flew home, staying with my parents. I felt like an embarrassment, and I'd broken up. So I was like, oh my goodness, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Well, this is when somehow, like, I started believing more in the universe and something being out there because I got this feeling that I just had to double down what I was doing before. I'm gonna start a new supplement company, right? But set it up in a way which won't screw me over. So my funds are still frozen. I still don't have much savings left, but I have to start something new. And within the first 2 months of that, thank goodness I had so much skill in running ads that and organic traffic that I got that up to a decent level slowly to where I'd actually made all the money back. So I'm fast forwarding the story here a lot. But I lost all my money, I made it back, and then I hired some lawyers in the US after 5 months. They still didn't give me any of the money back to say, hey, look, if you don't give us the money back, we send it directly to TikTok headquarters. So if you don't give us the money back, we're going to sue you. Like, it's my money. I haven't done anything wrong. You haven't told me why I've even done what I've even done. You see, you have to at least give an explanation. So one day I just woke up and all the money was transferred to my account. They didn't say anything. Yeah.
So
I was
what's
hoping
it,
for a happy ending.
Yeah, I was like, oh, well, thank goodness for that. They didn't say anything. They just transferred the money.
so who was it? Was it TikTok that was holding it, or was it the payment
TikTok.
processor?
TikTok Incorporated,
Yeah, okay.
based in the US. TikTok, if you're watching, I love you now, right? I love you guys. Absolutely best platform on earth. I'm so glad that Donald Trump saved TikTok. But like, oh my God, like when this platform was just going to start a TikTok shop, they were just banning everyone. Like, there's so many people in the same position as me to the point where I didn't feel that excluded. I was just so pissed off that they just do that out of nowhere and they wouldn't give me a reason. So I essentially hiring the lawyers was the last step of many things that I tried to do, and no one had done that. No one, just the idea I thought up. I was like, I just want to sue these guys. They took all my money. And so they gave the money back without any questions asked. Thank goodness. But I already made all the money back, so I wasn't stressed. But it's like once I didn't need the money, it's almost like that's when I was allowed to get it back from the universe, you know. So yeah. But now to this date, I do ads to other companies. I don't want to deal with all that stuff I had before running my own company. Just under 200 million views for health supplement companies and my own products as well in the past. And that's mainly organic as well. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
And so curious, one question I had, yeah, when you and your ex-missus now went to like Portugal, right? Had you been traveling before? Was that a hard decision to go, I'm going to Portugal,
It was a little bit tough, We've never been traveling overseas together. I went to a few places for a couple weeks to a few days, like Australia, that sort of thing. I'm from New Zealand, but never for that long, it's like months. So, I don't know, maybe looking back, probably should have set certain boundaries. You don't know what you don't know. But yeah, so that didn't end fruitfully. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. And, and then, yeah, that doubled down, cause it was tough, it put a magnifier on everything else bad that was going on.
Yeah.
And obviously I just stayed strong throughout the whole thing, and then it worked out. So
Yeah. And so another thing as well is you've got this presence, like you're loud, like salesperson. You've just got all this energy and whatnot. Had you always been like that?
Well, absolutely not.
No.
In high school, I was feeble, a nerd. I obsessed over grades. I got A's in everything. I was like, in UCAS terms, I had like 400 UCAS or something. The max is 420. So, and I was trying to get a scholarship into Sydney University, which I didn't get. Damn. But I had top grades in everything, right? In mathematics, physics, and English literature, I had top grades. But I was an absolute nerd. I definitely couldn't talk to women, right? I was nervous as. I'd shiver. I would shit myself trying to talk to a woman. And but what really changed everything, I'm so thankful I got into a young age, was that sales job, that first sales job that I had, where I had to walk into somewhere, talking to people I never met before, put on just a massive smile, just talk confidently and have conviction as to what I was saying, and convince people persuade them to do what I was saying. And that, my mindset changed, that changed everything. It gave me so much confidence doing that. And that was something that changed everything for me. And that overflow of that affected everything else. Because secondhand, like I've never gone to university to learn behavioral science or marketing or psychology, but through doing that job, you learn so much just subconsciously about the way people act, why they make certain decisions, what emotions inspire people to do the things they do, why people even say or do the things they do. You learn so much subconsciously. And then now I'm able to unravel it and actually scale it through marketing, it's all mapped together very, very closely.
Yeah, and 100% agree with it. So you're self-taught in that as well. You had to learn.
What's that?
Like you had to learn. Like
Yeah.
how what was that process like? I guess
Just
curiosity.
I'm a huge believer in fuck books, fuck learning. Really, not fuck learning, but you're always learning, right? But you learn through action, right? Action, failure, pain, and when you learn more through pain and trying to unravel what you did wrong. And that's when the books come in. That's when the YouTube tutorials that come in, But so many people, I think, get caught in this thing of, I have a job and I want to do something, but I don't know what to do. Just do something. Just do something. If you're trying to escape the rat race, as a lot of people call it, you just got to do something. Like, there's no point watching this YouTube video about someone telling you this is the easiest way to make $10,000 online, and another person to just try something. And through the pain, you actually get to unravel, learn more about yourself, what you're good at, and then, make decisions based on that. Because I had like 5 business ideas that failed before I started any of this, And so but every one of them I learned maybe the hard way, right? Through losing money and through like just failing in general publicly, that, what I'm good at, what I probably should be doing. And, through those failures, I talked about the Gary V video before, where, if I saw that video and I never tried anything, I probably wouldn't have capitalized on the information that he said. I wouldn't have done anything. But I've already tried 5 business ideas. I'm so pissed off that nothing's worked. Why hasn't it worked? I'm not good at this, not good at this. I've tried to create online courses, publicly failed, in front of all the people that on my Facebook profile, so launching ads and stuff, it fails. And I was like, I just want to try something. And then I see this video of Gary Vee say, hey, it's not working because you're not authentic. You need to try something that's authentic. If you're at entry level, like you have no skills, just talk about something you're passionate about. So I did that, and that's what happened. That's what kickstarted everything.
Yeah, I'm curious to know as well. One of the biggest concerns, the biggest problems I see is, especially with creating content, is getting in front of that camera.
Yeah.
You're already confident. Was that you when you first created videos, or was that just repetition, or you just good at that?
It's repetition. Like, we are, as humans, no one's born with the biological knowledge to be good in front of a camera, right? You have to learn it somehow. Whether it's watching someone else do it or what you're watching a tutorial on it, but really you just have to get in front of a camera if you want to get over the fear of being in front of the camera. So yeah, but I think, like, especially in sales, like I'd walk into somewhere not knowing anyone. There was one time where I walked into a building and there were like 50 staff everywhere. And I went up to like 10 of them asking for where the boss was and if they wanted to buy anything. So getting in front of a camera for me was like a baby step, really. It was like, so I already been difficulty-wise, like so up here that getting in front of a camera was like
easy work.
It was light work,
Yeah.
It's like trying to box a heavyweight boxer. And then when you, say for example, you're 60 kilograms and you've been fighting someone 100 kilograms your entire life, and now you have to fight someone 60 kilograms. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Just a camera. There's not even a person here, Yeah. So that's my take on it. But I still wasn't competent in front of a camera first. Like a lot of people get in front of a camera and they aren't able to speak in a way that's authentic to themselves. They get into a shell. They aren't authentic. They sound robotic. But so that was me at the start as well.
Yeah.
So you have to essentially just be comfortable first by doing repetition, and then you can,
Everyone has to start somewhere. It's funny because what you were talking about earlier about, failing. So I come from a fighting background. Is that you learn much more from a loss than you do from a win. Is that when you don't even think about anything. When you lose, you sit there and think, what the fuck? And you think about all the things that you messed up on. And that's how you come back stronger. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Like
there we are.
When you have a failed business ideas, you, if you have an ambitious mentality, you know that you're going to try something else. You're not just going to give up in life after you have one failed business idea. Maybe some people do. But for me, every time I failed, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I'd be like, damn, I freaking tried this. It took me so many months to put all this stuff together. and I did all this, and I took this video, and I did exactly what the person on YouTube said, and I did all this. Why didn't it work? I had to think so hard about why something didn't work, you know? And that's, so whenever I see an entrepreneur, you know, sometimes you meet occasional like crypto millionaire, right? They just invested in a coin their first time, they made $1 million, and now they're, you know, young, whatever. Like, that's way less impressive to me than someone who's built a company from nothing, right? And had to go through, like, they don't talk about it, but they've had to go through so many mental challenges, so many things going wrong all the time, putting out fires. And it's like 1% of the time things are great. And then the other 99% of the time, things are terrible. So whenever you meet an entrepreneur doing very well and they're smiling, they're happy, like, it's respectable because you know they've been through so much. They've been through so much, and it gives you a new perspective. But you have to keep learning. And when you're in so much pain and just not hating yourself, but just in so much, like, upset, that's when you actually think very hard and put all your mental bandwidth towards, what do I do now, you know? Because if everything's going well all the time, you're just celebrating, you know?
Yeah, the comeback's always stronger.
Comebacks,
I like that.
yeah. And I think it's almost like a biological mechanism where whenever you get defeated, that's, you know, like a lot of fighters, their backstory, a very common one I hear is they got beat up in high school, right? Or they got beat up in school, and that's what inspired them to start fighting, right? Or they had some sort of conflict where they didn't feel like they were able to be strong enough, and that's why they started fighting. You know, it's the pain that essentially is like a driver. Yeah. I feel like for men especially, I don't know if it's just a cultural thing or if it's biological, but this story of, you know, learning a lot through pain, through my experience, has been a lot through talking to other guys who've gone through the same thing. So yeah. I honestly forgot what the question was, but I went on a bit of a rant.
I love it.
That's so true though. You know, like, you know, when your back is against the wall, you have to be resourceful.
Yeah.
You know, and if you keep thinking about something, you'll find a solution.
Yeah.
Right. Your brain will naturally go and put every scenario together. Right. If you think about it that hard, and you focus, right, you'll find it. And I think that's what's kind of happened to you as well.
For sure. Yeah. But it never stops. So
it never stops. That's the downside, isn't it?
It never stops.
The same, yeah.
You know, at every level, there's always new challenges which are much bigger and much harder. You know, at the top level, you've got someone like Donald Trump, who every day he's getting a new lawsuit against him by someone saying he did something breaking a law, or someone that he's, you know, like, all these professional football players, they've always got someone saying something about them which cost them $100 million. You know, it's so the game never stops, where you have to keep being resourceful. You have to keep, you know, not being complacent, because that's when shit happens, you know. So you always got to stay professional, and always have that mentality of when shit hits the fan, you got to believe and know from past experience that you can overcome it.
Yeah, and the more problems, like, you know, one of the things is like, you know, you should be really loving problems, right? Like, because, you know, Donald Trump might, you know, he's dealt with so much, right? Like, he's had to make decisions, but you're only capable of, like, the problem that's in front of you.
Yeah.
If you don't learn from that, you know, you're not going to be able to solve other problems, you know?
100%. Yeah, 100%. And a lot of it comes down, in decision-making, comes down to intuition, but your intuition gets built over having to make previous hard decisions in the past, you know? Like Donald Trump, for example, what he was known for in the 90s was being like the top negotiator. Well, he's only the top negotiator because he has the skill in his head of all the thousands of negotiations he's been in, right? So it is all learning through past experience. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's but I what I was thinking about when when I saw the title Creating Freedom, we're getting deep here, guys. Creating freedom it's not just like most people, look, I say it in a very controversial way when I say most people are slaves, right? They're not actually slaves, right? But if you can only make enough to afford food and rent and occasionally go out and have fun, well, what did slaves do in the past, like in the Roman Empire? Well, slavery's existed for 10,000 years, all human history. Well, all slaves did was they work, long hours, they'd have free food and free accommodation, and they'd eventually get to have some leisure time. And over 50% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. So they are living the exact same life that exists for slavery. Like, it might sound controversial, but it's true. I've talked to a lot of people about this, and they say you can't say it's slavery. It is kind of like slavery, really. If you only live in paycheck to paycheck.
I kind of look at, sorry, cut you off, but it's like with the slavery thing, I've always thought about that. It's like slavery back then is like, okay, let's say I own a slave, I got to pay for the sleeping, the food, the clothing, the medical stuff. It's like, I feel like sometimes it's just changed. All it is now is like, okay, we're going to pay you the money and you got to pay for your house and your clothing, this, that, and that, but you're giving up all your time. So it's still like, it's the slave system. We're still in the slave system.
It's been reconstructed, right? And it's tough because everything gets more expensive every year. Right? Even in Bali, you know, you have single bedroom villas now that cost like 40 million per month. That's like 4,000 Australian dollars, right, per month. But before, 3 years ago, they only would have costed like 10, 15 million. So it's hard. It's getting harder for people. But when you guys said, you want to inspire people to, create freedom for themselves, well, you got to realize now that if you are living, that lifestyle that most people live, a lot of people think that things are just going to magically get better for them. It won't, things only actually get harder. For me, I felt that especially where, I didn't proactively think about my situation in these moments. I thought somehow things would get better. But once you actually sit down and decide, I'm gonna do something here. I'm tired of not being able to afford to go anywhere or do anything. I just want to be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, with whomever I want, And so, if you really want to just get off your ass, you have to think, okay, this current situation I'm in is not good for me. No one's coming to save me. I really have to start something. I have to take action now. I can't just sit down and think about what I'm going to do. I actually just need to do something, not tomorrow, just right now, get off my phone, stop doom scrolling, and just do something right now. Because that's the first step towards getting somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, somebody else, another guest that we had, which really hit me as well, is if you're complaining about your situation, you chose it.
Yeah. Yeah. Your situation is a direct reflection of all the decisions that you've made in the past, right? Although you're not directly deciding right now to be in this position, all your previous habits and decisions have led you towards where you are now.
Yeah, every action has a reaction.
Exactly. And this shows for, people who complain about their weight, for example. I think we all know that if you eat too much, you get fat, right? So
no, that's not true. I try. But go on.
Some people have different. Some people have different metabolism. Some people don't absorb as much energy, and some people do. But essentially, if you eat too much, the energy gets converted into fat eventually.
Yeah.
And so that's a very direct example of how your habits and your decisions affect your current reality. So that doesn't just show for your weight, for example. It shows for your finances. It shows for your location. It shows for your relationships. It shows for,
your whole life.
Your whole life, essentially.
It's funny what you were talking about earlier. I know so many people I don't even know. I just know so many people working in this job where they're not happy. It's not going to take them to where they want to go. But they sit there and think, hopefully one day something will change. Is that? No, nothing will change unless you change. If you keep doing the same thing, you get the same results.
Yeah.
If you keep planting apple seeds, you're always going to get apple tree.
Yeah.
So you got to make that change. And I think a lot of people, I don't know, why don't they make the change? Is that a fear thing?
Look, I've not been on many podcasts, okay? So I'm not sure what I can and can't say, but this is what I say to everyone in my life. Everyone knows I think this, but I think there are 6 of the biggest media companies in the world control every other media, every news outlet, every every movie you watch, everything you watch, every episode of TV you watch, they're all owned by these 5-6 major news companies, right? Which is connected to the fact that certain people have influence over what gets promoted in society, right? And this term of, what the collective consciousness of the world is called the zeitgeist, right? The people, what generally people think about the world and their worldview. And when you have, so for me, for example, I know that I'm able to use marketing and barely any resources to inspire people to make a certain decision. Thousands upon thousands of people a day have bought products from my ads, right? And just through simple marketing of, be able to create fear, be able to, fear of the future, and then provide a solution, right? And on a very big level where there's people have billions of dollars, they are able to do that on a scale which is like unbelievable, right? And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, right? I believe in the solid evidence if you're going to believe things and say a certain thing. But the general zeitgeist is, go to school, get a job, and stay loyal to that job, and maybe get a salary. Like, everyone knows this general life path.
Yeah.
And I think everyone generally knows now that it's not that fruitful, You might be able to eventually afford a car, eventually afford a mortgage. That is not living a very free life, And so, but people don't know what else to do because they're so afraid of going outside of the zeitgeist, this general way of thinking, which is fair because humans are
creatures of habit.
Not just creatures of habit, creatures of we're like creatures of thriving in packs and colonies of it's not a hive mind, but it's like not everyone is born with instinctive leadership qualities to think for themselves. And so when people are watching TV, for example, they are not aware that there's certain beliefs about the world that are being not programs. I'm trying to not be. I'm not trying to.
I know what you're trying to say.
I'm not trying to sound like conspiracy theorists here, but there's certain things that it's shaping their view of the world. And
I got brainwashed, but yeah.
But it is like the thing is like
we are
you're
from a young age.
Yeah.
But you're aware of them. I think you have to be aware with it. Think of like if you're on like a TikTok and you're scrolling, that's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You just get fed what you believe in. If you go down that rabbit hole, you don't know anything more than the bubble that you're in.
Exactly. I've had this conversation with many people where I think Instagram Reels is I think Instagram Reels is programming people to think a certain way.
100%.
Right? And I think TV shows also program people in general to think a certain way, right? The worst TV show there is Friends, right? And why this is because there's a laugh track. It was an international phenomenon, right? And when people sit down to watch Friends, they're with their actual friends, right? They sit down, and I remember my stepmom would tell me, "Oh, we all used to come and watch Friends together." And to sit down, turn off your brain, and now you are being told in your mind when to laugh. Although you don't laugh, they'll say something, and they'll do a certain thing, like, I don't know, cheat on her husband, right? But they make it into a funny scenario, and then everyone laughs about it.
It's okay.
Well, what does that do to your mindset about being loyal to someone, right? And if you can imagine, like, I'm not saying Friends did anything, but if 100 million people watch a show where someone breaks up with their girlfriend about, just saying something that they didn't like, and then they go, be unloyal, and they come back and everyone laughs. Well, if 100 million people watch that, 100 million people have internalized that as funny. What will that do over watching 200 episodes? What does that do to your brain? I don't know, right? No one knows for sure. I'm not going to make any conclusions here, but my assumption is that it's not positive towards people being loyal to each other, right? And you can tell how different the social values are by, especially in Bali, about, if you talk to a Russian person, which are many people, Russian people in Bali, they have certain beliefs about what relationships should be like, about what the world should be like, about which country has the most power. And then you talk to an American, they have completely different social beliefs. You talk to someone from Australia, New Zealand, we have a certain belief structure about what relationships and life should be like. And who determines that?
Good.
That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say on that topic. Because I don't want to go too down the rabbit hole there. But I know that me personally, I have a huge, just me as a person with 2 editors, I have a huge effect on on these 200 million people that I have watched these ads. I know that I've inspired, tens of thousands of them to take a certain, to give their credit card details over and do something just off a 2-minute video. So imagine what people at the high level do.
High level, that's how
Imagine what they can do. They have infinitely more knowledge than me and more influence,
resources.
more resources. It's like a whole team of people. Anyway, so yeah, but we, not blame anyone. That's a certain person. I love every single social media platform, and I love me.
Don't ban him or blacklist him. But yeah, you're 100% right. So just for your, your friend or whatnot that might be like doom scrolling or like, sitting in front of the TV or whatnot. Now they're a little bit more aware, right? You're in marketing, I'm in marketing, literally everybody is in marketing. It's all a game of influence, Brian. You can use it for good, you can use it for bad. What would you say to somebody that, just to maybe break free of like, get out of that sort of bubble, how do you, whether it is like traveling or anything really, just get out of the rut that you're in? Like, do you have any words or advice?
Yeah. So, first of all, if you don't like the current situation you're in, if you keep doing the same thing, you'll be in the exact same place. Like, nothing's got to change unless you do something to change it. So just do something, right? Pull out a journal and say, I don't like this current situation that I'm in. Here's what I'm going to do in the next 24 hours. Make a plan, right? This is what I told my friend after his girlfriend broke up with him. I said, you're going to keep being sad unless you actually start having a purpose and just focus on personal growth, right? Wake up tomorrow, go to the gym, do an ice bath, and just start doing something that's different from what you usually do, right? Change things up a little bit, and then you start to get momentum, right? So, for example, you're like me, you like supplements, right? Start making videos about supplements, right? You're not going to have the entire plan laid out in front of you from the very get-go. You have to just start take one step, and then after you're at that one step, you see more about what you can do, and now you take the next step. So, just do something. Just have a plan for the next 24 hours about what you're going to do, and then go from there.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just taking action, right? You can't, you don't want to be in a plan analysis where you're trying to map every step. It's just take that first step first, and then it's an experiment, right? Yeah. This test, just do it. Like,
I always have to use that term. It's like, you're planting orange seeds, you're always going to get oranges. So you do that same thing as it says. Just try maybe planting a couple of different seeds and see how they grow. But it's like, you do the same thing, you're going to get the same results, same kind of thing. So
yeah. It's hard. It is hard taking that first step. It is really hard. And I'm sure that everyone you ask here who started a business, I will tell you that, like, because there's so much unknown you have to face. Like, you see people making, you see someone on YouTube making, I don't know, $500,000 a month at 21 years old. First of all, 99.9% of the time it's fake, right? They're just saying that so you watch the video and feel terrible about yourself, and only they can sell you the solution. Me in marketing, right? I know all the tactics. It's just so obvious. But for someone like Andrew Tate, right? Make you feel terrible about yourself. I have the solution. Do this, right? But if you're just at the beginning, just take one step towards where, just lower your expectation a little bit You know, even if it's just starting to apply for remote jobs, right? If you don't want to start your own business, just apply for remote jobs, see where that takes you. Now you have more experience in applying for remote jobs. You talk to more people about applying for remote jobs. This person says, oh, actually, I know someone who's hiring for a remote job right now, right? Say, for example, you're in sales, like I am, and you're not, you don't enjoy it. Well, now you know other salespeople. You start applying for remote sales jobs. You talk to the interviewer for a remote sales job and say, hey, look, they say, hey, look, you're probably not a good fit for us, but I know someone personally who's hiring for a remote sales job somewhere else, and they'll hire you, right? So you can see how just one small action can lead to something else. You just got to focus on the first step. I didn't make this up. Like every other famous person who's successful has probably said this before me, but like just take the first step, you know? And that's the first step. If you can really just, it's only scary if you think too big, right? If you think the risk is really great, taking the first step, there's no risk, right? Posting a video or making the video, right? Just getting in front of the camera. You don't even have to post it if you don't want to. If you're trying to make content, just get in front of a camera and say something and then edit it and decide then if you want to post it, right? Don't even have to post it. So you don't have to be afraid because you don't even have to, no one's telling you have to post the video yet, right? If you're trying to make, just film yourself.
But you took one step.
You took one step.
Yeah, and the funny thing with that as well, like just to make the barrier so much lower, you're probably going to get 10 views on it anyways.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless, you know, the chances are getting, you know, a lot of views on there going viral.
But also how you look at it, it's like some people are like, oh, only 10 views. Where someone else will be like, wow, I've got 10 views.
Yeah.
It definitely might. I remember I had with one client where he gets 1,000 views on his YouTube and he's wrapped, man. He's so happy, and that's all you need. Because out of that 1,000, you only need one person.
Is that right?
And you only need one client to really change your life as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
Same thing with just one idea and change your life. So,
yeah.
Yeah. And if you, I've heard that one, but most people won't take action on the idea.
That's what I'm saying. It all comes in action, though. But it's that, you know, your life can change just like that by making that one different step.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah. You there's no risk. Really, like just turning on record, not even have to worry about poster, just turning on record. That's it. You've taken the first step, right? Now the next step is putting in an editing software. Now I edit it. Now I have more experience in editing. Do I want to post it, right? Like when I posted my first video, I was surprised that anyone even watched it, to be honest. I was surprised at why. I didn't know there are other people who are interested as me, right? I saw some TikTok videos. I was like, maybe people will be interested in like this 10 supplements I'm taking. But then like the third video got like 1 million views, right? I didn't even say anything in it. I was just like, took this and I took this and I was like flexing. I was like, well, whatever. And then it got like 1 million views. I was like, what's going on here? You know, it's just about taking the first step. You know, most of the videos that I've recorded or made, I have not posted, right? But now, and initially I was surprised that people watching my videos. Now when I don't get 500,000 views on one of the ads, well, I'm really upset. I feel like that video is just flopped, you know, like why aren't people interested in this? I'll look at all the metrics, 3% watch through rate, freaking 82% hook rate in the first three seconds. Like I'll be so obsessed with it. But in the reality of the beginning, don't have to worry about any of that. You just have to worry about uploading the video. Don't have to worry about anything. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good advice. You know, good examples, and just to, you know, inspire someone to sort of take that first step, that first action. Has anything else that you want to share? Also,
no, I don't even know how long we've been talking. To be honest, I got entranced. I started ranting, and you know, but this is.
I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
it. I really loved it. So, if people are watching this, they might want to reach out, ask questions, or they might want to go to your page and maybe get some ideas from you. You know, how
Do you have any questions about selling stuff on TikTok? Go to my Instagram, Harry R Chang. So Harry, and then R, and then CHANG. That's my Instagram handle, and that's the stuff I specialize in. And yeah, just take action. You know, go do it.
Yeah. So 25 now. I'd be interested to see where you are in the next couple of years. We will come back and see where you're at. We probably you'll probably own one of them supplement companies now.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Done. Thanks for jumping on.
Awesome.
Really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Oh,
Thank you for having me.
Until
Thank
next,
you.
guys. And
Guys,
Peace.
peace, guys.
out.
Yeah.
Liz.